So on October 12th, 2013, Pokemon X and Y were released worldwide. It was Generation 6, the newest generation of Pokemon, and they introduced something called Mega Evolutions, which changed the whole dynamic of Pokemon. Pokemon kind of rebranded itself with these Mega Evolutions. Pokemon has now changed where everything is centered around Mega Evolutions, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is, Pokemon X and Y were only centered around Mega Evolutions. It was part of the story and that was pretty cool. But what I'm trying to say is that the game itself wasn't complete. They only introduced 69 new Pokemon. That's nothing. I'm pretty sure Pokemon decided to rush a game out just for the 3DS, just so Nintendo can have a game for people to buy. I don't think enough people buy a 3DS just to play Mario right at the beginning of their launch. I think they needed to have a Pokemon game to boost their sales. They literally spoon-fed you Pokemon. I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a Torchic event when Pokemon X and Y came out. You can get a Torchic via mystery gift. So they gave you a Torchic, they gave you a Kanto starter, they give you a Lucario, and you can get a Lapras in the game by pretty much doing nothing. And these aren't like weak Pokemon they give you, these are pretty substantial Pokemon for a main story game. Like, to have all those Pokemon just given to you is pretty pathetic. And at the time I had mixed feelings about getting all these Pokemon. I was excited to use a Charizard, I was excited to use a Blaziken, but at the same time I always wondered why they're giving us these Pokemon in a new generation game. And it's not like you have to work hard for these Pokemon, they just give it to you. I didn't really understand, but at the same time I was pretty hyped up about Mega Evolutions, which X and Y were centered around. The whole idea of X and Y were obviously Mega Evolutions, as I said before. So now we jump to May of 2014, and keep in mind, in October of 2013, X and Y were introduced. So now in May, they announced that Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire will be coming out in November of 2014. So the lifespan of X and Y was very short. I know a Hoenn remake was really wanted by the fans. Like, as soon as Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, you can see like in 2011, 2012 on any YouTube video of a popular Pokemon YouTuber, people wanted a Hoenn remake, and that's justifiable. I wanted one too. One thing I noticed about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is that the games weren't really marketed. It's like they didn't really care about the games coming out, they just did it, I guess, to pass time. Not pass time, but to delay another year where they can work on Generation 6.5 or work on Pokemon Sun and Moon. Because Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it was announced and that was pretty much it. Like, there was obviously gameplay released, but there was no real hype around it. Not the hype that you got from Fire Red and Leaf Green and Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So now if we go back to X and Y, in the games you catch Zygarde, but when you catch Zygarde there's no real story to him. It's just you catch him, kind of similar to all the third legendary Pokemon in all the Pokemon games. Like, there's no real story to them originally, it's just you catch him and that's it, or catch her and that's it. So we have Zygarde now. He has 4 different forms, and you can't access them in X and Y. They're probably going to be accessible in Pokemon Sun and Moon, because that's the only way. Why else introduce these new forms if you can't even use them? And these forms were introduced for the movie, so you have this movie that has 4 different Zygarde forms. You have a Volcanion that has no story in the actual game. You can only get it through an event. And then they introduced Magernia, or the new Pokemon. I can't pronounce its name. I have to listen to Ash and see how he pronounces it. So this is where Pokemon Sun and Moon come in. I think Pokemon Sun and Moon are going to be like Gold and Silver, where they're going to add to the story, but at the same time be a new region. But I think more a new region than Johto was. Like, why else would you introduce a new Pokemon if they're not going to be playable in the region that it's supposed to be from, right? Like, they introduced these new forms of Zygarde, but you can't use it in X and Y. Giratina got new forms, and that was in Platinum, and Platinum is a remake of Diamond and Pearl. So if Zygarde gets new forms, that means the two games are connected, or the two regions are connected somehow. So this is another Zygarde tie-in. Obviously, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, Pokemon Moon is going to have some sort of Moon legendary, and then Sun is going to have a Sun legendary. And that means there needs to be a third legendary for the Earth, right? Like, you can't have just those two and none for the Earth. If you read what Omega Ruby's Pokedex entry says about Zygarde, it's pretty interesting. It says, when the Kalos region's ecosystem falls into disarray, it appears and reveals its secret power. And now for Alpha Sapphire, it says, it's hypothesized that it's monitoring those who destroy the ecosystem from the cave where it lives. So Zygarde right now is kind of like a protector of Earth. I feel like it has this earthly feel to it. I feel like it's very connected to planet Earth, and it's gonna protect it while the Sun legendary and the Moon legendary are fighting together. That's where I think Zygarde comes in, and then I think its other forms are gonna be released to us. Not released, it's gonna be shown to us while battling the legendaries. So after you beat the story, after you beat the Sun, or I guess in Pokemon Sun you have to beat the Moon legendary, and in Pokemon Moon you have to beat the Sun legendary. So once you beat that and you capture them and then you beat the Elite Four, a Zygarde story is going to reveal itself, and maybe you have to do something, like maybe after it battles it goes back into that cell form, and you have to do something to put it back to normal, and then you capture it at level 70 after you do all that. So yeah, so basically Pokemon Sun and Moon are going to complete the Kalos region, or they're going to complete X and Y, sorry. I think that's what's going to happen. I think it makes sense, just because they can't just release X and Y. They can't just do that to the Kalos region because it's so incomplete. It's so incomplete. Like, there has to be another ending or another story to it, because I was not impressed by that, and Pokemon Sun and Moon, from what I just said, kind of makes sense. So anyways, thank you guys for watching if you watched this whole video. If not, then whatever, I'm talking to myself. If you like more videos, please subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys, I don't know when, maybe soon. Okay, bye.